Okay, so here I am doing a reading on change. Change itself, and sort of why we resist change, and we'll probably also look at how we can better include change in our lives instead of resisting it all the time like a bunch of dipshits. So, this, well, we'll see. All right. All right. So the root card is the Page of Cups. And we'll see what the heck that is talking about. So at first, I'm just sort of looking at change in people and sort of why people resist change. And the card that we get in the center is the World. The World is the last card of tarot. And the World basically shows when we have learned everything we can from a certain situation or like a chapter of our lives, and it's like a graduation. So here it's a completed cycle, it's a completed chapter. You learn the lesson, and basically it shows at the end of a cycle, it's about understanding how far you've come and how much you have learned. So then you can take the next step to the first card of tarot, which is the Fool. But this is what happens right before a completely new journey, right? And that's the World. Now, as a root card, we get the Page of Cups. And the Page of Cups, number one, this is not a card of commitment. The page is a card of experience, of having experiences. And the page is like a little kid, so commitment isn't really their thing. The Page of Cups specifically is very emotionally driven and just like trying to help people. So if you look at these two together, like, why would we resist change? I mean, at the root, we're just a bunch of emotionally driven children. So maybe there's greater wisdom that gets lost on us sometimes. But as far as why we would resist change, the World would say probably that we don't spend enough time realizing how far we've come. It's like we want a specific part of our lives to keep going for no reason. And if we realized how far we have come, then we would be more okay with letting a specific chapter of our lives end. But we keep trying to juice the lemon after the lemon has been juiced. So, I mean, that's what I would get out of this in the center. And on some level, we're just a bunch of emotional children. And, you know, although it's not really their nature to be committed, they can be attached. Usually that's this way. Um, Reverse, the Page of Cups can get very emotionally attached to things that are not permanent. And that usually throws the page out of whack. But ideally, so here, the page finds the fish flopping around on the beach and brings them back to the ocean, right? So it's this really harmonious interaction. And what's going to happen is the fish is going to swim off into the sea. So the two won't see each other again after that. Their meeting was mutually beneficial here, as the fish rewards the page with a pearl. but it's not meant to last because they're from two different worlds. The fish is going to swim away. And the only way that this ever gets fucked up is if the person tries to hold on to the fish after, it's time for them to go back into the ocean. So trying to hold on to something that is temporary is essentially the only way the page of cups gets fucked up. So, as far as how people, why they would resist change, this would basically show emotional connections to things that are temporary, but it's not always easy to accept that. So, let's just take a peek at how we can better um, integrate change into our lives. And let's just see what we got. Ten of Cups. This is the happy reunited family. It's interesting. This basically shows emotional support. It's like the emotional support of a loving, happy family. But it looks like it would be really helpful for us as people to incorporate change into our lives if we had a decent emotional support structure. I guess that makes sense, you know? That's fascinating. I didn't really expect to see that there, but there it is. So, emotional support in our lives and at home is key to help us be able to handle change in our lives. And it would also be helpful basically to really try to understand how much you have learned and how far you have come in the situation that you're in. And perhaps what is left to gain, if anything, because there's probably nothing, you know. So if you do have any ideas of just sort of general readings I can do for the channel, feel free to leave me a comment, and we can take a look at all sorts of things. Peace.